Dooby doo, be doo. Dooby dooby doo, be doo. Dooby dooby doo, be dooby doo. We have sound, we have vision. Let's see if the sound quality improves this stream, shall we? Alright, what are we doing today? Oh, finishing off the Windows 32 API, I hope. Log error refactor. Yeah, I left that in a bit of a mess towards the end of last stream. And key pressed. We did quickly look at it last stream. And I've decided to put it in. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put that in. Apologies for the sound quality. We have tried to sort that out. So hopefully today's going to be okay. Okay. Yeah, there we go. It's Sunday, so I did the I pre-typed this bit in. All I've done is taken the two functions that we wrote and really taken the middle out and split them into two separate functions. Yes, create message, now just formats. It was format. I had to look it up. And just to do a simple formatting for a string, it returns that string straight back to the message. And we show the message box. Yeah, that works fine. And of course we panic with the display the message. Yeah, that's fine. Show message box is just the function, the unsafe function. Okay, lovely. I've got a cup of coffee and just leave that on the screen for a second in case people want to know how to do it. That's roughly how it's done. Those are okay. There we go. That's it. So our error logging is 41 lines of code. Straightforward. Nothing special. And very, very light error checking. Well, we're just reporting that something's gone wrong. We're not really trying to do anything about it. Excellent, excellent. We've got our refactored logging of errors. I had to do it because we are finishing our Windows 32 API. For now. So we have logged our errors. Nothing's changed here, has it? No, nothing's changed. Right. Events. Yeah, I had to put a correction in. Yeah, I spotted a mistake. The only correction I put in was a D. I put the letter D in, I think. Failed to destroy window, that's right. No display device context is available. Yeah, it was that D there. Failed to paint the rectangle. Okay. So everything's happy here. And in the at the end of the last stream, I typed this in. For WM key down. Just realised. Oh, I've got the primitive type arrays up because I'm trying to work out how to use arrays. Okay. There we go, that's a bit better. So there we go. WM key down is a value in hex of 100. Value with literal is 256 if you want to put it in as a literal. In normal numbers, as we may call them. I did notice there was another one, key up. which I think we will need. So this program currently, we have fixed most of it. Everything looks okay. So our mouse pointer now works, which I quite like. This background colour, we can turn it black if we want to. I've been looking into that as well. But if we now press a key, that's the left arrow, the right arrow, the letter A is 65, B is 66. So we're getting virtual key codes back from the operating system. And there are 254 of them. That's incorrect. There are 0 to 254, which means there's 255 of them, doesn't it? We have to count from 0. And that's what I would like to do. I might be using that. What I'm thinking of doing is I've run through about 2 to 3 different techniques that we could use at this point. One of them involves passing our Win32 event through to the window procedure so we could access it in here, which I think is a better solution, but we can only pass one structure through. And I don't think I want to use that optional thing for events. I probably will want to use that on graphics. And because of that, we're going to use this strange interception method we've found. And I think we're going to put it in here. No, I don't want that. So that's a public window open. Ah, that shouldn't be. Yeah, I'm going to make it public. So what we're going to do is a keylogger, I guess. Alright, so what's a keylogger going to be? It's going to be an array. That's square brackets for arrays. So we're going to need bools, and we're going to need 255 of them. Yeah. Put a comma in as well. We're not allowed to do that, are we? Huh. Oh. Default is not satisfied. Okay. We're not using a default on here, are we? We're using new. Okay. So what we're going to do is let keys equal yeah, we'll do that. I'm going to do that, and I want to place in there false. Yeah, for all 255 of them. I think that's right. Okay, let's pull you down. Don't think we want a default on this. Okay, so keylogger colon keys. All right. Okay. Because we are using new, we're not using a default system on this. That's fine. So we're setting all of our keys in the keylogger to false. I believe that's how it's done. Just don't quote me on that. Let me switch my sound on. Alrighty. So we've got this set of keys. Interestingly, these arrays can be indexed. We can access them through indexing. So what I'm thinking is don't know if this is going to work. Self dot keylogger open. That's going to be message w param equals true. Alright, it says it's okay with that. So how do we turn it back to false? Do it properly. Poor Conran. Keylogger. I'm hoping that'll work. Just going to pop that in. And it's not saying that we're doing stupid things. That's good news. Let's just check this through. Get you out of the way for a sec. So left arrow, keylogger is true. Yeah, that's working. But we're not setting it back to false. I think we need to do that. So what I did do, I've been looking through a few bits and pieces in here. I had key up, which is 101, WM key up. There you go. So that's key down. Key up is 101. I found this as well, colour background, whilst we're searching through different things that we can do. Not overly bothered about using it, but it might be worth a try. That takes the system default, the operating system default coloration for the background, rather than, sorry, the user-defined system default, rather than what we've done, which is the original system default window background, which is always white. Oh, should be. So we could use WM key up. Okay. Alright. So if we use a public constant here, WM key up, keep it as a U32 of course, and we'll just pop that one in, I think. OX. We should stop doing that. OX, I need one more, don't I? Yeah, 101. Alright, I'll pop you in. What we're just going to do is just duplicate that for a second. So here we're going to use key up. That becomes false. Virtual key code, keylogger, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's a sensible message. Alright. Have we got ourselves a keyboard? There's the question. I'm not sure we have. Oh, we have. And it turns out it's false at the end. Right, yeah. That's working, okay. Right, I'm happy with that. So even if we hold the key down, it'll come through as true and then hit false at the end. We'll release it. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I think we have possibilities. Problem. Key codes. Do we want to do anything about the key codes? we're attempting to do simplicity, aren't we? So I think the answer's no. Which is my usual reaction to anything. Don't do it until really it could become a problem. Where can we get a set of key codes from? There's no work involved here. All we're going to be doing is setting a true or a false. Is that work? Not really. It's just placing a value of 0 or 1 in a memory address. That's pretty simple and straightforward, really, isn't it? All right. I think I'm going to be okay with that. Now we need to invent a test for it. A sensible test. All right. Usage. How do we want to use it? We're looking at something like, well, the polyvents has to go through first. That could be awkward. Alright. Thinking through the logic of it all. So I'm going to ignore the polyvents for a second. Test for the event key logging. I'm not sure what to put that, so we'll just put that. I'm thinking of using it as something like app, then is key pressed. Is key pressed? Is that a good way of putting it? Just put key pressed. Yeah, key pressed. Then we'll be giving a number which we don't know. Let's make a number up. Uh, 37. Left arrow. Okay. $37 is going to have to be a U size. I'm just going to type in 37 and see what happens. Okay. Alright. So that's going to be left arrow on the keyboard. I mean, you can choose any key you want for testing. You don't have to use the left arrow, just as long as you know what key number it is. Something like that. Why does it have to be a U size? I don't think it does. It can be an int, it can be anything. The reason I'm saying a U size is because if we have a look at events under this W param, it's a U size, and that's what we're using here. All right. So we're going to need an implementation for this. So we're going to put in a check for check for a key. Oh. Well, no, it's check for a user input, and we're calling it key pressed. From the keyboard. I'm just going to put that in for now because we're not doing the mouse currently. Okay. But I think it's pretty obvious how you do the mouse if this works. We're going to be using a virtual key number. So I'm just going to I'm going to call it virtual key number to remind me that this isn't normal. It's not ASCII. The letters A to Z and I think 0 to 9 are ASCII values, or the same as ASCII values. But yeah, we'll take it in as a U size. We'll conform to what we've done. We're going to pop back a bool because that's what we've got, and we're going to need, we don't need mute, just and self, isn't it? I think. We'll see. We'll see. And all we're going to do here is type in something like self dot events keylogger, and then virtual key number. Does that satisfy? Yes, it does. There we go. Self events keylogger virtual key number. Okay. I'm hesitating, aren't I? This looks way too simplistic. That's probably why. Just check through. Got the 101. I'll leave those print lines in. Everything's been satisfied. So if left arrow is true, it's a bool, we're allowed to do that. We're just going to print line why can't I do this today? I can't type today for some reason. That's not unusual for me, I guess. I'll put in 2 spaces. You pressed the left arrow. Okay. I'm not doing anything else with that, am I? So if that starts spamming, we got it wrong. And it'll spam very, very fast. Let's see what kind of output this gives us. Pre-roll ads are disabled for 11 mins. Really? Well, if you had adverts, do apologise. Twitch is like that. Okay. What does Clippy say? Clippy says we're alright to run. So I'm just going to plonk in that. Okay. Well, it's definitely giving us the left arrow key. Oh, it only gives one message for the press, doesn't it? Huh. Okay. That's what I expected, an absolute awful amount of spam. Alright. Let's get rid of the spam. See if we can get a better test here. Okay. What I'll do then is just clean it up a little bit. Just a little bit. So it's a not test output. So test output equals true. Okay. It's never read. I don't want to read it. Strange thing. And then we'll just put if left arrow again. Sorry, if not left arrow. Test output equals false. Okay. Do I really want to put that in? I've got too many of these going. I think we're okay. I'm going to pop this in. Just see if we can get this to stop complaining. Test output, please. Does this matter? Value assigned to test output is never read. Maybe it is overwritten before being read. I don't care. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah. It doesn't like what I'm doing because I'm just trying to force an output. It only goes to there. Okay. I'm going to ignore it. Just for testing, I'll remove it all. Fine. Yeah, it's going to say, don't do this. Oh well. It's not coming up with what I expect. Well, it is, but we're just getting a lot of key presses on that. An awful lot of key presses. Input really does go fast for some reason. Didn't work. Yeah, it's being taken out, isn't it? Okay. Does mean we have to use it for it to be included within the program. We've got an optimization error occurring because of what we've done. Print line. Test. Whatever. Just put in test output here. See if we can get it to compile fully. Alright, now we get an error. Because I didn't do that. Alright. Okay. I need a half decent test here. Maybe I just stab test faults. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's working. God, that really does go at some blooming speed. Alright, it's just going way too fast for... We'd have to log it. Okay. Alright. Not quite sure that I like what it's doing, but, you know. We'll take that out. We'll take that out and just leave it as a simple test. Okay. Because it's not going to give us any more information. I can use an assert. Yeah, we'll go with that. We will go with that kind of idea. So these virtual key numbers. We have the virtual key number problem. What can we do about it? We can use this to find out what the virtual key is. I do want to get rid of that. I wish we'd stop having to do that, but never mind. Yeah. Virtual keys. Huh. We really need the virtual key codes. Yeah. Ah, it's not going to be in here. It's going to be in... here somewhere. Let's take a quick look at this. User input. Keyboard input. Key codes. Virtual key codes, okay. Ooh. They don't start at 0. 0 will be the error. Huh. I wonder what happens if I try that. There's an awful lot of these. Huh. Let's find out. Alright, it just makes a mess. And it gives us them all in hex. Okay. Alright. Fine. It's there, I guess, but, you know, that's the information it's giving us. That's awful, isn't it? Okay. Are we allowed to use hex? $37. Which is OX25 for the left arrow. If I type in OX25, yeah? Alright. It says it's okay. No problem there, it says. No problem there, it says. Telling us in decimal. Alright. So that's legal. We've got it. We've got a very, very simplistic key pressed. So we've got keyboard input. We've got lots of other stuff in here. I think mouse input's in here as well. So it's not really just keyboard input that we've got. Yeah. All the mouse buttons are here. So it really isn't key pressed, is it? It's an input action. It's a button pressed. Mouse buttons, keyboards have buttons. I'm hesitating because it matters. When we come to use this, it matters. Alright. I'm going to go with button then. But that could also mean message box buttons. I'm trying to get rid of this ambiguity. And no, we'll just keep it as key press then. Alright, we'll leave it at that for now, because that is very, very non-ambiguous. For mouse button pressed, we're just going to use the same function. Huh? Okay. Does that seem too simple? It does to me. And the fact that we're intercepting it, could be bad. Alright, I'm going to go with that. But that's the most simplistic way I can think of doing it, is just using a keylogger. Not a very good one. Bit raw. Okay, yeah. I want to show you this as well, don't I? Oh wow, that was laggy. What's going on with my computer? Is everything okay on the stream? We just got a massive lag there. Is the sound okay? Because I know I've been having trouble with the sound. Huh. How weird. Yeah, it's this thing here. Public const. It's a U32 and I know its value is 1. What I'm thinking is that useful? If I get rid of that for a sec. There we go, we get a couple of errors. Just wish I could see them. So if we change that to color background, we get a black window. I'm in dark mode, so that is the correct color for dark mode. Is that what I want? It hasn't changed the title bar over though. Am I okay with that? Yeah, I think I am. Alright. We could detect the escape key now. No. I don't want to be doing that at this stage, do I? Alright. Okay, so that gives color background is the operating system one. I'm thinking that that is possibly, sorry, the user defined theme background. I'm going to keep that in as well, just for now. Just for now. Yeah. That went smoothly. So, I'm staggered. Absolutely staggered by that result. It took us less than an hour to finish everything off. So it looks like we're going to get some bonus stuff. This code is now as far as I'm concerned, complete. One of the things I did make a mistake with is something called feature creep. As you can tell, we've now got a massive feature creep. What I did was I added the error handling and the vent detection after we'd finished the first two, which was my initial goal. You should never do that, to be honest. Never add. Complete what you set out to do in your goals and stop. So that's why I had this. Is this a separate dev project? Yes, it is. Absolutely. We'll get rid of that now. Never increase your workload, because now it's taken us, what, an extra week? I'm only doing a couple of hours a week, so yeah, it's taken us a number of hours to work our way through the errors, and a little bit of time on the pressed event detection thingy, which was a lot simpler for some reason than it should have been. But never do this. Don't do what I just did. That's bad. It will slow you down in the long run. You're going to find that out. Because what I'm thinking about is, like, next month I want to be looking at graphics. And I've come up with some problems about graphics. And I've got two choices. Well, we've got three choices. What are we going to use? I don't want to be doing graphics this month. I want to be finishing things off, or getting things sorted out. Maybe take a break, type of thing. Because I've been doing this quite flat out now for a couple of weeks, trying to work out what I want the finished product to look like. And it looks a bit like this. One of the choices you've got when being a game dev is what kind of graphics do you want to use? I do think I've chosen one system. But it's not a definite. We've got a choice between DirectX, OpenGL and Vulkan. OpenGL and Vulkan I've met before. DirectX I've never been anywhere near. Well, we've got some spare time. This is all now done. Okay, so we've now simple events. No. Simple error and key logging. Complete. So I'm gonna, it's not the final version, I've got all my notes to put in. I can do that off stream. We're finished. Wow. All right. We've got all the information, yeah. Okay. So one of the things that was in here User input. So it does do window graphics in module 3. It also does the comms in module 2. But this is all in C++, and they are going into inheritance, base classes and all that kind of thing, which I didn't really want to go too near. It does give us direct 2D program for creating this little window thingy. And if we have a look on the internet, Google, and try and find anything from scratch, there's nothing. There's nothing to help me. If I look at C and C++, it's all using this kind of thing with inheritance, isn't it? That's inheritance, by the way, in C++. And we've got all of this stuff that would have to be added in. We'd have to make a separate project for this. I mean, as C++, I can read this quite happily, but converting it to Rust, we've got an on paint and a resize, yeah, makes sense. All right. Look what they've done for their message handler. We would have to hook that up, which we can. I know how to do that. Well, I've got a good idea on how to do that. Discard oh god. So are we hooking that through? Yes, we are. Yeah. Okay, so we're using single thread, that's fine. I'm willing to give that a go. I've never done DirectX before. It's not something I've really wanted to do. Why, you may ask? Because it's for Windows only. So is the Windows 32 API, but that wasn't a biggie. That really wasn't a biggie. I knew I could get through that well within a month on a few hours a week. That's my first option. Second option is OpenGL. Okay. So OpenGL is cross-platform. It would mean I'd have to write a create window for Linux, really, wouldn't it? So it does add to the workload, but I mean, that's not a problem really at the end of the day, because it is something I want to write anyway. Alright. That looks okay. Initialization. Strongly advised to use a toolkit. Yeah, we're trying not to do that. So we'd have to be doing this manually. Once you are comfortable with OpenGL, you can start learning how to do this manually. Functions. Alright, let's have a look at do this manually. Create the context. Okay. Oh, it actually tells us. That's good. Alright. Proper context creation. Yeah, about this. There's a problem with OpenGL. Well, there isn't a problem with it. It tells you here. You have to create a false context. Why? Because you need to load extensions if you want to use any of the modern OpenGL functionality. So what you do is you create an initial false context, which is then used to load the extension. You then destroy the false context and create the window you want to use. So basically you create a false window, which you never show, obviously. It adds an extra step in there, which I'm not happy about. So there's your warning there. Unfortunately, Windows does not allow the user to change the pixel format of a window. You get to set it exactly once. Therefore, if you want to use a different pixel format from the one your fake context used, or different depth buffers and stuff, you must destroy the window entirely and recreate it after we are finished with the dummy context. So the key problem is this. The function you use to get the extensions is itself an OpenGL extension. Thus, like any OpenGL function, it requires a context to call it. So you have to make a fake context so you can call the extension, and then you can destroy your fake context. Or replace your fake context, because I believe it replaces. Yeah. So there's an extra step involved with OpenGL, which I'm not happy about. There's Vulkan. Which we could use. That involves another download. I think we've got OpenGL and DirectX available to us already on Windows. Whether that's through me downloading Visual Studio or not, I'm not overly sure. Tutorials, best practice videos, blogs, guide, code samples. This is excellent, isn't it? And this is huge. How much code do we want to write? I bet I could get Vulkan working within a couple of hundred lines of code. OpenGL can probably get working in under a couple of hundred lines of code. DirectX probably around about 100 lines of code. I'm thinking OpenGL, you know. because I think we can get past the problem of loading an extension by not loading an extension. If you don't load the extension, you get OpenGL 1.1. Which might suit my needs. There's an interesting idea. It would also give us a good test platform for how to incorporate graphics into this API that we've, well, developed as a prototype. Okay. Can I work through that? Probably. Alright, let's go with that then. Okay. Yeah. So, I think we're about finished with the Windows 32 API. We've got enough to get a window to run. Is that good, bad, or indifferent? Good question. Okay. So we'll tick you out. I think OpenGL is the biggest possibility for next month. I have been thinking about going back to, well, finishing this month off, revisiting collisions. So that would be our GFX, wouldn't it? Yeah. For graphics. I might want... Yeah, if you remember, I did a little bit of collision detection, but didn't really put much thought into it. So we might want to revisit... And dyslexia's just kicked in again. I think there's an E there. Collisions. For our physics. So it gives me a couple of chances. We get a whole week now before the end of the month where we can now start revisiting things and I can start preparing for OpenGL. That might be a good idea. The other thing is I could just take a break for the next week. There's not really much I want to look at in physics. So we could have a lazy look at it. Rust. What's going on here? Okay. Yeah, I was messing around with this and we had a problem with it, didn't we? Alright. Where are we? Here. Okay. There it is. There's your problem. As you can see, the ball gets grabbed by the bat, which means our resolver isn't working. There it goes. Nicely grabbed. But it's working. The application's working, but it's grabbing. Did we put resolution in? Doesn't look like it. Ball and bat collision. Names, rectangles, velocities. Okay. Da 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 da. Yeah. We did it on the ball, didn't we? So if we look down here, yeah, resolve when collision detected, bounce back. That's useless. There's the problem. We're just flipping it around. So we're just flipping it, which is not the... It's a very simplistic way of just bouncing a ball back. We just put 2 lines of code in and not really bothered about it. One of the main reasons for that is that we're using rectangles. Where the corners can get stuck inside the opposing object. So it keeps detecting a collision whilst it's inside that object. That holds onto the ball. So the ball is just waggling backwards and forwards. It's not going in a straight line when it's being held. It's just waggling backwards and forwards very, very slightly. If the program wasn't running so fast, that would be less of a problem. Ironically. But we have set it to 60 frames per second, not 30. Okay. One of the things I was thinking about doing is changing the rectangle over to a circle. That reduces any overlaps. That could work. Well, it doesn't work perfectly. It would reduce the grabbing effect, not eliminate it. You would also have to move your object back slightly. So we'd have to add to this resolution as well. I mean, that's okay. But it's not easy to do that, to change all of this in this original code, because this original code doesn't have the ability. It's using an ECS system. And we had a bit of difficulty with that ECS system, didn't we? As it didn't do what I really wanted it to do, which is fair enough. I mean, it's a crate. But we're now going outside of crates, so we can do something. Huh. I think we can do better. Well, I know I can do better. That's not the problem. What the problem is do we want to keep the rectangle? The game that I want to do at the end of the day is tiled. So rectangular collision and the result. Okay, let's say it. The resolver depends on the game. I'll be trying to fix a problem for something I'm not going to use. Unless I want the game freeform and not tile-based. All movement starts and ends in a tile in the final game. So I don't think I need to do this. I think we can keep the rectangle. Because all you do is you move it back to the tile before the collision. The collision just stops your movement forwards. So the resolver will be, don't move. Whereas this is a bounce. Got you. But you can see why I'm thinking about these things. It might just be a nice exercise to do. To give us options later on. But is it time well spent? I doubt it. Maybe I'll just go into OpenGL. Yeah, this is all fine. There's nothing I really want to use in there. Okay. So, coming back to our game studio, do we have enough code to do anything? Or do we need to test everything first? That's a really, really good question. We still don't have window close, but that comes under graphics. We're not using running. We do have poll events. We have input events. We don't have any systems because we aren't writing the game. We're swapping ECS over for tables, so we've got a data storage database type idea instead. And render is the bit that we haven't got. We've got everything but the render. Huh. And we can keep the error in the collisions if we want to introduce that collision system. I think that sounds good. That's part of the render. Yeah, we're only missing the rendering system. Well, I'm saying the rendering system, but a basic rendering system. Everything else looks okay. I've actually got a clock in here. Yeah, those three get replaced. A rendering system, is that part of create window? I guess it is. At this stage, I haven't decided yet. That becomes a table. We've now generated a window. We won't need running. We've got stuff here. Okay. Which won't be in the library. That's written separately as well. That's game specific as well. We're there. We are literally there. We are at the stage we need to be. I modified some notes. Good on me. Not bad. Not bad at all. We've got everything set up. Got data, we've got I/O, we've got time done, API base done. I didn't put up a physics one, did I? No. Fine. All right. We're gonna it's gonna be a lot of experimentation. An awful lot of experimentation. I think it's probably going to take me a few hours per week over a course of about a month to see if we can develop graphics. I could fail completely in doing so, or trying to do so. So I think that's it. I think we're in a good spot. We can update our game studio now to incorporate what we've done with the Windows 32 API, just to make sure everything works and works out and we can open and close and safely use the application without it killing the whole system. We don't really need to run any tests on it. We finished the testing, which wasn't brilliant. Okay. So those are the options that we've got. It looks like we're going for OpenGL, because this collisions thing is totally optional. Alright. And we have completed everything here. Alright, okay. Okie dokies, I think that's that then. That's a nice lazy Sunday that we've got our log error refactoring done. That's ready for transfer. We've got our key press system, well, a very, very basic key pressed system incorporated now. So I'm happy. I think I'm going to go with that. And in the meantime, it's weekend. Take care. Enjoy. Thanks for popping by. And have fun.